Hi there, everybody. This is Miss Four, your media specialist. I just wanted to introduce you to our first literary lunch and learn. So this is a time for you. It's lunchtime. You can have a snack. You can take a break, and you can even just mute your mic and listen in on the fun tech tools and literary topics that we have to share from the IMC. Today, I have the pleasure of talking to you about the new 2021 Elliott Rosewater Indiana High School Book Award nominees. So these are books that were nominated by Indiana teenagers, and we selected a set that are nominated for the award. So I'm going to talk to you about each of them, and then we'll also talk about how you can check them out and a fun game that we'll play for the rest of the school year. So let's get started. So here are the 2021 nominees. So go ahead and get started. First up, oh goodness, come on. There we go. Is Murder Trending by Gretchen McNeil. In a somewhat near future, infamous convicted felons are placed in a suburbanized prison island called Alcatraz 2.0 to be executed on a live streaming app called The Postman for anyone to view for entertainment. Dee Guerrera, 17 years old, is sent to Alcatraz 2.0 for a heinous crime she did not commit. But together with her newly formed group of friends, the Death Row Breakfast Club, she seeks to prove her innocence before she ends up wrongfully murdered for all the world to witness. So if you want a thriller, this is one that I would definitely check out. So it's hashtag murder trending. The next one is called Exit the Fire. Oh, I read the wrong thing. I'm sorry. After the Fire by Will Hill is about a young teen who's finally free of a religious cult where she lived inside a fence with her family ever since she was a baby. This is one that if you read the special ones, which was a nominee for the 2020, this is one that I think you would like. So it's called After the Fire by Will Hill. Next up is Americanized Rebel Without a Green Card. This one I was very happy to see because this is one that some of you read in class. So it's about 13-year-old straight-A student. Sarah is an Iranian American with only two when her parents fled from Iran. So this is a popular memoir that a lot of you have liked, so I hope you check it out. Americanized. The next one is called Brave Face by Sean David Hutchinson. It's about the author, it's another memoir, takes readers on a journey of his attempted suicide in his teens and how he made it through and found self-acceptance over time. This one is one where students found it very enlightening. It was very like a courageous story, and it was one that was definitely like inspirational. So this is Brave Face by Sean David Hutchinson. The lights in the IMC went out. The next one is Cracking the Bell by Jeff Herbach. And it's all about Isaiah, who loves to play football, and it's what saved him after his sister's death wrecked his family. This is one that's very inspirational as well. I liked it because you have this character who gets a concussion and it sidelines him from the game, but he has to decide between his health and the scholarship that is on the line. So Cracking the Bell, if you like sports, if you like medical sort of drama stories, Cracking the Bell is a good one to read. The next one, I'm very excited about this one, Heroine by Mindy McGinnis. This was a Sopories book club pick, and actually the author, Mindy McGinnis, visited Southport a few years ago, right after this book came out. We were part of her book tour, which is quite exciting. It's about this softball star named Mickey, and she's injured in a car crash, and she's trying to keep her spot on the team, and she slowly becomes addicted to her pain meds. We really enjoy reading this book because the writing style mimics the descent into addiction. So it gets to a point where it's very difficult to close the book because it's so good to read. Warning, it does involve drug use and does involve addictive behavior. So that is a warning I like to tell my students in case you have filters of things that bother you. But Heroine by Mindy McGinnis is a good one. The next one, How to Make Friends with the Dark. I'm in the dark right now, so this is fitting. It's by Kathleen Glasgow, who's a lovely human. I met her at a conference a few years ago, and at first glance, you wouldn't think that she could write dark stuff like this book. But it's always been Tiger and her mother as long as she can remember. Then her mother dies, and now Tiger is alone. The darkness invades her house, her room, and her heart, and she feels like she's splitting apart. So this is How to Make Friends with the Dark. The next one is I Am Still Alive by Kate Alice Marshall. Jess is on her own in the wilderness after her cabin has been burned to the ground. She has recently moved to live with her survivalist dad in a very remote cabin in the Canadian wilderness after a car crash killed her mom and left her injured. Now her father has been killed, and with only his dog for company, Jess must hunt for food, build shelter, try to stay warm, and try to stay alive because whoever killed her father will be back, and Jess wants revenge. If you like Hatchet by Gary Paulson, this one is one that you need to put on your list, and I mean it. I love the cover too. Um, but yeah, wilderness survival stories, Hatchet fans, pick up I Am Still Alive. The next one is called I Know You Remember by Jennifer Donaldson, and it's about Ruthie Hayden, who goes back to her hometown of Anchorage, Alaska, after being away for 3 years because her best friend, Zara Gaines, is missing. So you have another missing persons mystery. I know we have a lot of readers who love the mystery and like wanting to figure things out. This is one that you should definitely check out. Killing November by Adriana Mather. November Adley is enrolled at an elite off-the-grid school hidden by dense forests and surrounded by booby traps. No electricity, no internet, and an eye-for-an-eye punishment system and training classes for things like knife throwing, poisons, deception make this in place like no other. So the cover gives you this like prep school vibe, but I love that it's like another like a boarding school type mystery. Some students said it was kind of like Vampire Academy, but without the monsters. I can't wait to read this one. So it's Killing November. Next one is Michigan versus the Boys by Carrie S. Allen. If you like hockey, this is a book for you, and especially since it's winter. I think hockey is like the winter sport, but it features a character named Michigan Manning, and she's a hockey star who has to find a way to play after budget cuts to shut down the girls' hockey team. But you also have this character, she's dealing with things like hazing and potential assault and also just women in sports type issues. So this one is kind of a realistic fiction that has a lot of depth to it. So it's Michigan versus the Boys. On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Quite a few of you love The Hate You Give. I could not keep it on the shelves. So I'm so glad that this one is one that you guys love and that it's on the list. It's about Bree, who's 16, and she's the daughter of an underground rap legend. And she's just trying to fill his shoes but also come into her own. If you love The Hate You Give or any sort of Black Lives Matter literature, this is one that you pick up. Quite a few students love The Hate You Give and are always hesitant to pick up like a sophomore novel, but they weren't disappointed. So it's On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. The next one, Patron Saints of Nothing by Randy Rebai. Randy Rebai did a virtual author visit with us in April, and it was a fun time. Like he talked about writing, he talked about constructing this book. This one's about Jay. He's a Filipino American high school senior, and he travels to the Philippines after his cousin's murdered during war on drugs. So you have this mystery happening, but you also have a male teenage protagonist who's also just trying to figure life out. And I think that's the best part of this book because he's just trying to, figure things out. I won't say anything else, but Patron Saints of Nothing. This is another Kate Alice Marshall book. She's got 2 on the list this year. It's called Rules for Vanishing. Legend says that once a year, a path appears in the woods, and the ghost of Lucy Gallows lures anyone brave enough to find her in. Sarah's sister Becca disappeared into those woods exactly 1 year ago. Sarah receives a text message asking her and her friends to play the game and find Lucy Gallows. And Sarah is sure that this is the only way she'll find Becca before she's gone forever. This one leans more towards horror and thriller. I don't read horror by choice. I mean, sometimes I do. This one is one that if you like scary stuff, check it out. Okay? So Rules for Vanishing. As that slide vanishes, we'll go to the next one. Seafire by Natalie C. Parker. This is fantasy because you have a character called Caldonia Styx, which is a cool name, and her family is killed by Eric Athar, a corrupt warlord, leaving her charting her own course alone on a dangerous, deadly seas. She is a pirate. Can we talk about pirates as characters for a second? Because holy moly, like those are cool books to read. So that alone, like, intrigues me enough to pick up Seafire. Okay, so you should too. The next one is called Skyward, #1 by Joe Henderson. I read this book actually while I was in line to go vote. It's a graphic novel, so it's easy to get through especially if you love pictures. It's about the futuristic story in which gravity on Earth has become a fraction of what it once was. 20 years ago, Willa Fowler, who's our main character, was born just after G Day and thinks it's pretty awesome that you're able to fly. But then she starts getting involved in all these like conspiracy theories and like unravels some mysteries that she wasn't supposed to. And yeah, things happen. There are 3 books in this series. This is the first one. It ends on a cliffhanger. You have to go pick up the second one and then the third one. The library has all 3, but #1 Skyward is on the list this year, and I highly recommend you check it out, especially if you love books like Ms. Marvel and Captain Marvel, or you just want like a really cool female protagonist who just like wants to make the world a better place. And she flies. The next one is Teen Titans Raven by Cami Garcia and Gabrielle Piccolo. I don't know very much about Raven as a comic book character, but this book made her so normal, even though she's got powers, which is weird. She's lost both her foster mom and her memory in an accident, and she's 17, moves to New Orleans to live with the foster mom's family and to finish high school. And so you have things like where she's trying to figure out her memories, but also these mysterious powers that are showing up, and she has no idea anything about this. But then she also just wants to go to prom and like eat candy. Like, I want to do those things. So this is Teen Titans Raven. The next one is The Art of Breaking Things by Laura Simpson. Sky is 17 years old and she's been accepted to her first choice college and art school. Cool. And she's looking forward to surviving her senior year and just hanging out with her younger sister Emma. But then her mother's ex-boyfriend returns and her world starts to crumble because there's a whole big secret and backstory with it. I really enjoyed reading this book. It reminds me something like Laurie House Anderson's Speak. You have a female character who goes through something tragic and she deals with it, but then she comes into her own in her own special ways. And it's a great story to experience. So, and I say that, and I think you feel like you might know what it's about, and you don't. So check this one out, The Art of Breaking Things. The next one is The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. In Garner County, girls are banished during their 16th year in order to release their magic into the wild so they can return as purified women ready for marriage. Tierney James dreams of a time when women and friends are not pitted against each other, and she soon realizes that not everyone makes it home alive from the Grace Year. The greatest threat may not be the poachers in the woods or the brutal elements, but the girls against each other. I want to read this book so bad. And it's not because my favorite color is pink and the cover is pink and her hair looks super cool on the cover. It's very intriguing. I can't wait to read this one. So it's The Grace Year, and I hope you join me in reading it. The next one is called The Opposite of Innocent by Sonia Stones. I actually just put this on display, so it's ready to be checked out. Lily was 12. Luke, a friend of her parents that she had a major crush on, has left. 2 years later, Luke is back. Lily's 14, and she feels transformed into womanhood. And you've got this whole story that kind of unravels with their relationship. The Opposite of Innocent is told in free verse prose. So you have this very artistic storytelling that Sonia Stones is known for. So if you particularly don't enjoy reading, or sometimes you find it difficult to go through all of those pages, especially right now it's stressful and maybe you're having a moment and you can't process everything on a page, free verse might be the way to go. So this might be something to kind of help you get back into reading. We've all been there. It's okay. So this is The Opposite of Innocent. The next one is called The Rest of the Story, and I have some people who are probably going to fangirl because they love Sarah Dessen. Sarah Dessen's The Rest of the Story tells you about Emma Saylor, whose mother had died when she was 10, and it's just her and her dad. Her dad's about to get remarried. and she is unexpectedly sent to spend the summer at Northlake with her mother's family, who she hasn't seen since she was a little girl. So you have this story where this girl, she's a teenager now, dealing with dad getting remarried, but then going to meet these long lost relatives and then trying to also figure herself out. Plus, it's in the summer and she's at a lake and there's boys involved. Like, and she's meeting new people and she's like discovering new hobbies. Like, it's just a super fun, heartfelt story. So, and that's the rest of the story. The next one is called The Silence Between Us. It's by Alison Gervais. I'm very excited about this one because it's about Maya, who is a deaf teenager. She moves across the country and has to attend a hearing school for the first time. Bo Watson, one of her classmates, surprises her by learning ASL. And she's just trying to focus on her future. And in the midst of an unexpected romance, people start to question her deaf identity. Okay, so it's really about coming into your own. It's realistic fiction, and this is The Silence Between Us. The next one, They Called Us Enemy by George Takei. If you have Mr. Bockelman as a teacher for English, or you had Mr. Bockelman for English, you need to ask him about the time he met George Takei. It's a great story, and he tells great stories. And go ask him. This one is a graphic memoir telling us about George Takei's childhood years imprisoned in a Japanese internment camp during World War II. He was 4 years old. His family and every person of Japanese descent was sent to these relocation centers and held for years under armed guard. So this is a book. It's a graphic novel, graphic memoir, because it's a memoir. And it's really moving. And I know some of you in history classes right now are about to study World War II. And so this one would be a great thing to like supplement your knowledge. The next one is Two Can Keep a Secret by Karen M. McManus. So Karen M. McManus's last book, One of Us is Lying, was on this past year's Rosie list, and I couldn't keep it on the shelves. Like, you guys loved it so much. You love this thriller mystery, and here's Two Can Keep a Secret. It's not a sequel. It's a different book, but the covers are kind of like, they look like they're sequels, but it's not. It's not a sequel. This one's about Ellery, who moves to Echo Ridge to live with a grandmother she barely knows. She's heard about the small town because her aunt went missing at age 17, and 5 years ago, the local homecoming queen was killed. Now, listen, we have another missing persons book, and it's another missing persons mystery. So, you guys love this stuff. You love the thrillers. You love the mysteries. Check out Two Can Keep a Secret. Then, last but not least, this is another Sopo Reads book club. Man, we pick them. This is With a Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo, who I love. You guys know I love her. This is by, it features Emily Santiago. I have a typo because autocorrect. And she's a high school senior who has a daughter, and she's also just trying to make it in her own world by becoming a chef. It's a beautiful story. It's a novel compared to Acevedo's like poetry. So that's slightly different about this one, but it's a delicious book. See what I did there? Because it was bad. Okay, so those are the Rosies. And now the next thing I want to talk to you about is on Canvas. You can go to the SOPO IMC Canvas page. Front and center is our homepage where you can like explore different Canvas modules and activities we have. But one in particular I want you to go to. So if I go and click Explore Canvas Modules, it's going to take me to this Elliott Rosewater nominees module, okay? And when you click this, you're going to go to the 2021 Elliott Rosewater nominees, and it's going to take you to a Bitmoji classroom, kind of like our homepage, and it's going to have all of the Rosies there. So you see you've got all of them, and each one of these is hyperlinked, so you can click on one, and it would take you to the IMC's website or IndiePL and show you how to check out the book. Okay, so you can check out these books at home. You can place them on hold. And for those of them that are here in our school library, like I just told you I set Opposite of Innocent on display. If you wanted to put a book on hold, you can pick it up in the main office on Wednesdays so that you can read them at home, because as you read them, you can then vote, or Let me go to the next page. Boop. There we go. We are going to play the game of Rosie Bingo. Okay, so Rosie Bingo, the instructions are right here, but I'm going to open it. All you need to do, everybody who is enrolled in this Canvas course, which is pretty much all of the staff and majority of students here at Southport High, are able to click this and create their own bingo sheet. So once you read a Rosie, it can count for 2 boxes. So the first Rosie I read, so let's say I read With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo, that could count for my first 2021 Rosie that I read. And all I would need to do is delete this red font and type in the title so that when you turn it in for your bingos, I can see which books you read. So since I read With the Fire on High, that counts for 1 box. But then let's say there's another box, a Rosie written by an author that I would love to meet. Whoops. There we go. A Rosie written by an author I'd love to meet. I've met her. She's fantastic. If you ever get the chance to listen to Acevedo or see her speak or anything, do it. It's fantastic. But I could put it there for those 2 boxes. Okay? So here's the fun thing. You get a prize when you receive your first bingo. So if you get 5 in a row, you can turn it in. You can hit submit up here, and I will see it, and then I will mail you a prize to your home. And then your second bingo. So if you get another 5, so let's say I get 5 this way, or I get, you know the drill, bingo. You can hit submit again, or you can let me know, and then I will get you another prize. Once you get a full card, like you fill up all of them, you get another prize. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited. So those are the 2021 Rosies. So I hope you check some out. If you have any questions or want recommendations on my favorites, feel free to reach out. But I hope that we get some bingo played and we have a good time. So other than that, happy reading.